Hi, welcome to Rockhead Metal Invasion. My name is Steve, and today's video is called Released in 1992 and on Vinyl Part 3. So, showing you some records from my collection that are from the hard rock, heavy metal, hair metal genre that released albums in 1992. So, as I've said on previous videos, popularity of this type of music is in decline, and so is the popularity of vinyl. So it's getting harder to get these albums on vinyl, and there were less releases as well as grunge became more popular and alternative rock became more popular. But there was still quite a bit coming out in 1992, as I found out when I went through my collection. Quite a bit there. Of course, I've also gone through and looked at things in my collection that weren't released on vinyl that I have still have a copy of on CD. So I'm going to show you 8 records today. I'd probably say some of the records I'm going to show today are great records. None of them were particularly successful, but and some of them were a little bit patchy at times, but definitely enough quality on them that they could have been successful, but due to perhaps the time that they were released in wasn't to be. So the first one I'm going to show you is Bandit. Through the 80s, definitely had some, were popular, especially in Europe, but by 1992, when this album came out, this is Pretty Maids, Sin Decade, it didn't get a lot of attention, and it's a shame. It's got some great hard rocking songs on here. Come On Tough, Come On Nasty's my favourite off here. I only actually checked this album out, sometime maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So I wasn't aware of it that much at the time, and I had actually heard some of their. They did continue to release albums throughout the 90s, which is pretty amazing when you think about how difficult the 90s were for some of these bands like Pretty Maids, especially those hair metal bands. They did still release albums throughout the 90s, and I'd heard some of those, but I'd actually missed this one. And yeah, it's pretty similar to the albums that they had released in the 80s. Real solid album. Like I said, a couple of good standout tracks for me. Come On Tough, Come On Nasty is the one that I like playing. And still going today, still releasing albums today, which is fantastic. I don't know how many albums they've done now, but quite a few. All right. Next one is this is this band's third album, and as I said, some of these albums I'm going to show today are a little bit patchy, but this band, especially on their first 3 albums, were very consistent. Really great, for me anyway, very solid albums from start to finish. I'm talking about House of Lords, and this is their 1992 album, Demons Down. Not an easy one to get on vinyl. This was released on Victory, and again, really solid album. They haven't changed their sound really much from their first album or the second album. Very similar. They've got a few new members for this album, but they've still got James Christian on vocals and Greg Jeffrea on keyboards. Tommy Aldridge and Sean McNabb have joined the band for this release, and the guitarist is a guy called Chick, who I'm really unfamiliar with. So I don't know. I'm not sure it's the best name for guitar player. That's all he called himself, Chick. So maybe he did go on and do other things, maybe with a different name. I'm not too sure. But either way, it's a solid album. Probably their first album is my favourite, but this would be equal to their second album, Sahara. Is also really good quality, high quality melodic hard rock. And like I said, very consistent band. The stuff that they've released recently, so they've reformed and released quite a few albums over the last few years. But the only sort of surviving member of the band from these first three albums is James Christian, and possibly not, haven't quite been able to reach the at least for me, the standards that they reached on those first three albums. Yeah, if you can, check this out. Good album. Talking about 1992 and some of these bands not getting the attention you'd think they would get. 1992, there was the release of Bonham, who is, of course, Jason Bonham, the son of John Bonham, and the album Mad Hatter. Now, this was released in 1992, and didn't get a lot of attention. There is one standout track on here for me called Change of Season. Awesome track. It definitely got some serious Led Zeppelin vibes there. And I guess that's always something that Jason Bonham was going to have to deal with when you're the son of the drummer from Led Zeppelin. But, fantastic. Daniel McMaster, who unfortunately is no longer alive, died way too young. Fantastic vocalist as well. It's still a bit of a patchy album for me, but like I say, I really enjoy Change of Season. I often just put that track on and just go, wow, that's an awesome song. Next one. Now this did actually probably get a bit of publicity, a bit of attention, but didn't really get the sales to go with it. The reason it probably got the attention is because it is the band Rockhead by the well-known producer Bob Rock. So that helped him get a lot of attention and publicity. When you are the producer of platinum-selling bands like Motley Crue and Metallica, that is obviously going to be very helpful. And again, a little bit quite patchy. Probably even for me, maybe just 2 or 3 songs on here that I am familiar with. My favourite, Heartland, though, is a track I love to play. Awesome song, and the vocalist Steve Jack. Really good. I'm not quite sure what happened to him after this album, but fantastic vocalist. So, obviously the musicians on this album are really good. Production, obviously, very good. Looking at the liner notes here, they've got lots of people, superstars, coming in to help out. Richie Sambora from Bon Jovi, Billy Duffy. They've also got Scott Humphrey, who is helping out with some of the keyboards and programming. He went on to become quite a well-known producer and worked with Motley Crue and Tommy Lee. All right, next one is English, UK hard rock band, and this album came out in 1992 on Music for Nations, and I'm talking about FM and Aphrodisiac. So again, a lot of these albums have one thing in common, apart from House of Lords, a bit patchy, but again, it's got another standout track for me, and that is All or Nothing. Starts off with a kick-ass riff, and I love playing that song. So if you don't do anything else, check that song out. A solid release though, very good. I mean, obviously Steve Overland, fantastic vocalist. He just sounds awesome. And I've really enjoyed the stuff he's been putting out recently as well, which isn't often the case with some of these 80s, early 90s bands or artists. The stuff that they're releasing these days, often not doing it for me like it used to, but Steve Overland still sounds great. FM still sounds great. They're just released a new single, and some of their recent albums have been pretty good too. So worth checking out on Music for Nations. Alright, now the next band had, I would say this band you could compare a little bit to Slaughter. Now, we've got a train coming through, so you might just hear that for a second or two. The reason I say that is their first album was quite successful, and then they released their follow-up album again in 1992, and it was not quite as successful, of course. So very similar to Slaughter, what happened with them with their first album and then their second album. So you might have guessed who I'm talking about. Successful first album, not so successful second album when it's released in 1992. And that band is Firehouse. And this is called Hold Your Fire. This is actually a Korean release on vinyl, so really difficult to pick up on vinyl, of course. So pleased to have this one. I probably prefer this album to their debut. Some good songs. Probably my favourite song is Rock You Tonight, although I have to say, in 1992, if you are releasing a song called Rock You Tonight, yeah, I just don't know if it's going to quite happen. But I mean, I don't mind it. I like it. Like I said, it's probably my favourite song. I Reach for the Sky is pretty good too. Yeah, I just think that those kind of song titles weren't quite what people were looking for in 1992. But yeah, very similar to their first album, and yeah, but again, like Slaughter, didn't achieve the success of their previous album. Alright, next band. Now, I've actually shown this album before on one of my videos, but it is a 1992 release, so I wanted to show it again. Now, this is a band, another American band called Steelheart, and Tangled in Rains is the name of the album. Now, this is not a Korean press, but you can get this as a Korean press, but I suggest you don't, because for some reason it has the same cover artwork and everything, but it has different songs on it. Well, it has some of the songs from this album, but it also has a live track and some songs from their first album, which is really weird. But I suggest, if you can, well, it's very difficult to get the European pressing. This one is a German pressing. Yeah, and again, a little bit patchy for me. I preferred their first album. I like Dancing in the Fire, which is actually the album closer. So often the last song of the album is not usually my favourite song. In this case, it is. The last song is my favourite, Dancing in the Fire. And finally, Yngwie Malmsteen. This is Fire and Ice from 1992. Standard track for me is the single. I think it was the first single, Teaser. Yeah, and again, a little bit patchy, but I found Malmsteen's albums often are a little bit patchy. I'm not so much into the guitar solos, but he can still produce some great songs. He's had lots of different vocalists working with him, and now he's doing the singing himself, which is probably a good idea. Alright, so that's it for this video. I will be back to do one more video, and then that will be, I think, the last 8 records that I've got in my collection that fit the hard rock, air metal, heavy metal, whatever you want to call it, genre, from 1992. Alright, later.